Macron Motorsports builds champions every day, drivers who won on the world stage. The Tucson T4 Series is pure spec racing. Same engine, same chassis. When you win, it's because you were the best that day. Your edge is not the kart. It's the setup, the strategy, and the race team. With our Arrive and Drive program, you simply bring your gear, we provide the equipment and the championship-winning support to every event. Stop wrenching, start racing. Your path to the T4 Nations Cup in Spain starts with us. For more information, contact us at macronmotorsports.net.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Gee, looks like we're missing the engine. What the hell am I supposed to tap?
What do you mean?
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go, come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico, it's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink. of Kart Chaser.
Paulie Massimino wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix. James Overbeck on start number 2 gets win number 1 in OKN Stars.
On track or off, Brandon Jarsakrak Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarsakrak, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
Hey guys, I'm Chris G. I'm Kart Chaser's driver fitness coach, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to strengthen your shoulders for more endurance and better stability in the kart. Here we go. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the front rope pull-through cable raises. Okay, now this is the upright cable row. What you are doing here is you're picking a straight bar, as you see, and we're working.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself, quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
Garrett. Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Hi.
shoulder, those two that you just had like a tiny little string.
Like, something were like weird.
Yeah.
These little triangles were like,
Yeah. It's like, bro.
Welcome to Tucson, Arizona, a venue that has not hosted a major U.S. event, at least with our coverage, well, since before KC existed. We're so happy to be with you here in the desert for the Rotax Americas Trophy Series opening weekend, the official launch of this new program. Two race weekends, 4 rounds for 5 of our 7 divisions. This class on the racetrack beginning their qualifying session. The FZ85 Juniors and FZ125 Seniors will be running a multiple heat and pre-final single round format over 2 weekends here in Arizona at Musselman Honda Circuit in Tucson, and then rounds 3 and 4, or in their case round 2 of the championship at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati in Batavia, Ohio. My name's Xander Clements, alongside me Justin Prince. Justin, the weather here, it's a little warm, but we're happy to have you here with us all the way out in the desert as well.
Yes, indeed, and that's been a talking point for a lot of the teams as well. You're talking heat advisory warning over the course of the entire weekend. You're talking temperatures up or near, if not above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's not including the fact that it's very low humidity, so it's a very dry heat also. This track temperature is also going to be a factor for a lot of these teams. Your stuff and making sure you don't shred the tires going to be also pivotal when it's so hot out.
Temperatures have been record numbers throughout the entirety of March in Tucson, Arizona. Over 100 degrees yesterday. It should get right around there or pushing towards it by the time we get to the afternoon, but cool in the morning. And right now, as the tires get up to temperature in this brand new division, Ashton Woon currently fastest over Brandon Eng. Those are the 2 karts on your screen as they work their way out of the final turn, and they'll head to the line to complete qualifying, and it will flip with an identical lap out of Brandon Eng, going down to the 10,000ths margin. The Canadian, a 50.988, matches that. Rodriguez 5th, and Matty Dragon in 6th for the first ever FZ85 Jr qualifying session. We'll go in depth a whole lot more as this weekend burns on, especially when the FZ125s hit to the racetrack. But this category, it is meant to be the entry level or stepping stone into what we'll be seeing next weekend as the headliner of the SCUSA Pro Tour, the KZ shifter class. So 6-speed gearbox on these Yamaha YZ engine or FZ engines as well, but on top of that, they are meant to last a whole lot longer than the open multi-make classes, versus this being a spec division, all with the same power plant. And KSG, Rotax USA, and Coordination helping bring this add-on division to the 5 standard Rotax Max Challenge US classes that will be running the America's Trophy. That's your single-speed divisions from Micro through and Masters. But a really cool program. We got to see it a little bit, Justin, throughout a couple of events last year where Billy Musgrave, who of course has been a phenomenal ambassador, the reigning Pro Tour champion, took him out to racetracks on the day before opening practice would begin at the various SCUSA Pro Tour rounds. He was there at the Winter Series this year in Houston, Texas, debuting the karts as well. Anyone could come up and do a test drive. And this weekend, a super cool promo deal. Some of these entries came in last second, like Ashton Woon, for example, saying, hey, look, we just want to show you guys how fun it is to drive a shifter. We want to be able to extend that down to the junior ranks, which in the heyday of the 2000s when shifter kart racing was really at an all-time high in the States, there was a junior class. It was full. Some of the likes of IndyCar stars like Pato O'Ward, even our director on the other side of the production bus, Riley Cann, has a whole lot of gearbox experience and plenty more. It's a huge development, huge part of a driver's development to be able to understand the differences and nuances of racing when you have 6 gears, and on top of that, when you have front brakes and a clutch lever, as you saw all the drivers stop on that backstretch and practice a launch. So cool to see that here. Obviously, the numbers are just in the very early days of it all. 6 here in junior. We're in double digits in the FZ125 Senior, but it really is a class we've only seen on our coverage race one time. That was the SCUSA Pro Kart Challenge at K1 Circuit about a year ago. Beyond that, there's been sporadic test days and a handful of races. To my knowledge, for the majority of the FC Juniors that are here, at a minimum, it's their first ever race in this package here at Tucson at Musselman Honda Circuit. At a maximum, might be their first ever time racing this package, and for a couple, it might be their first time testing a shifter package. It'd be really interesting to see what the times do over the course of the weekend.
Yeah, especially as drivers learn, because was talking with a couple of the seniors when it comes to this type of package over the course of things. Theo Kakani also was talking with one air competitor, and one of the major things Theo Kakani also was talking with one air competitor, and one of the major things they mentioned was trying to get used to the nuances and the differences in how these karts will drive compared to the KZ package you referred to. One of the discussion points when it comes to 125 side in particular that came up was, in a little bit comparisons compared to a single kart, compare that to some of the other karts we see for the shifter classes. So it's going to be a bit of a learning curve for some of these teams as they learn about this package as it gets the national spotlight after more than 2 years in development.
And now we go from the entry point into the shifter ranks in FZ85 Jr to the entry point to the Rotax Max Challenge in the United States here. The Micro Max drop, double digits for them, triple digits overall on the event. And again, it's a conversation I feel like I have with many in the U.S. karting industry when we talk about the Rotax Max Challenge events total entries compared to, say, the likes of the SCUSA Pro Tour, the Stars Championship Series, U.S. Pro Kart Series. A lot of those championships will have 8 to 10 classes even. The Rotax Max Challenge structure obviously only has 5, really 1 per age group. The FC add-ons now add a second option for junior and a second option for seniors, but you still don't see a whole lot of double duty drivers. We only have a handful of them this weekend. Woon is one of them. I believe there may be 1 or 2 more out of the 85 juniors doubling up in junior max, but when you say 100 entries or 125 and you actually divide that down just to 5 divisions, that's still a very healthy turnout. We've got double digits in micro max. We're in the 20s in the minis, 20s in the seniors, and I believe over 30 plus in junior max. So there you have it with Micromax Qualifying 1 completed. Jet Fisher by 1,000th of a second over Dusty Strayer. Racing Edge Motorsports on top in our first single-speed qualifying session of the day. And just like that, we are 2 in to qualifying here for the Rotax Max Challenge Trophy from Tucson. And the Micromax Winter Trophy Championship, well, we got a couple of international drivers that joined us, but a few that are back here as well for the Arizona stop of the Rotax Max US Tour. For the America's Trophy weekend here, myself, Xander Clements, alongside me, Justin Prince. We're ready to bring you more of the action. 2 classes have grid set for racing later today. 5 remain on the other side of this break.
I'm Jackson with Alpha Race Hub. Alpha is an all-in-one motorsports software solution that can solve all the software problems you need for your track, facility, or series. Alpha can cover all your software bases, from online registration, digital...
Outleaving your home. Outleaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. KartSim Pro North America. Use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
working our way through qualifying still as FZ125 Sr worked its way onto the racetrack. Earlier today, warm-ups went the way of Daniel Fellows, who led the way. Gage Korn, one of the big names who jumped in with the pickup truck, brought him and his dad over to help and be able to see how the Maranello machine performs here today. Part of many others looking to start things off here, Xander. This field, very sizable, double digits to start things off for its national debut. A lot of good competitors a part of this field.
Yeah, Gage Korn with Maranello USA and his dad Henry here getting some extra laps in advance of next weekend as the rookie standout from 2025 in the pro shifter category stateside is looking to take all that experience and the new kid on the block page and turn it to chapter number 2 as a sophomore. And certainly yesterday's performance in final practice put an exclamation point on that he's going to already be a threat in 2026 everywhere he goes. He was wicked fast even in the rookie season. Thinking back to Stars Charlotte, Justin, when we shared the mics over there at the Queen City Gambit, the opening round of that series back in April of 2025. He was quick, qualified on the second row, kind of got swallowed up a bit by the starts in the 2 motos and had to fight from further back in the field in the main event. But that's kind of the early stages of a driver's career in a gearbox class, that speed is one thing, and some of that will transfer, some of the basics will transfer from a single speed car to a gearbox machine. A few things are different. You narrow your lineup because you have more power and you can get the revs up higher by going down the gearbox. So your exits are a little tighter, your entries are a little bit tighter. You can brake a little bit deeper, and you've got to also manage your balance of how much front to rear percent of brake usage you want to have. But ultimately, with the gearbox divisions, it's the starts that catch a lot of drivers out early on. Just down the road at Phoenix as well, the other major facility. I remember back when the SCUSA Pro Tour went there about 10 years ago, dating myself quite a bit. Stingray Robb, IndyCar driver, was racing in the S2, the semi-pro shifter category. What's kind of now going to be where this class finds itself. He qualified on the front row at 30 deep, stalled it off the start, first start, and got demolished by a bunch of the drivers coming through the pack. Thankfully, Gage didn't have that issue when he struggled to get off the line in Charlotte. But again, those rookie woes, those first few times of the nerves of lining up on the grid, and again, it's all on natural feel, right? You're trying to get that perfect exact position on the clutch lever where you're just ready to slip it, get a little wheel spin and launch, but not too much that you accidentally stall the car once you're in gear.
Yeah, I was talking with Zimming Wayne in terms of that in particular. It said that's going to be a little bit different too with this style compared to the KZ. In particular, trying to get your way through, you have the lever, for example, compared to, say, a paddle shifter that you see in some of the other shifter car classes that to work with. You have to a little bit difference in the power band.
I think what he's mainly talking about is the feeling in the clutch lever, right?
Exactly.
So you still have a hand lever right behind the steering wheel to push forward to downshift, pull back to upshift, right? And of course, you go in between first and second gear usually for neutral on these machines, but you see one driver there coming across one of the Ruthless machines. It looks like Xander Malatesta potentially 7th here at the end of qualifying. Gage Korn, by the way, picking right up where he left off yesterday afternoon. My goodness, nearly a half-second clear over Zimming Wang. Yeah, the clutch feel is going to be way different on a purpose-built go-kart engine like a KZ package from any of the different factories or manufacturers to a dirt bike motor that has now been retrofitted essentially to fit on a race kart chassis. And Gage Korn's got a pretty good handle on it from what we can tell so far. 4.5 tenths up on the pack. Zimming Wang second, Sebastian Cortez, Daniel Fellows, and Theo Kakati, your top 5. As you can see, he is standing by in the scales. We'll send it on to you, Grace.
Thank you, Xander. I'm here with Gage Korn. You got the lead by over 4 tenths. Talk me through your weekend so far.
I mean, it's been going pretty well. Thursday and Friday practice have gone really well. You know, the chassis was not too happy, slightly cracked yesterday. Got it all welded back up. Today we finally put on a new set of tires. Didn't do that all through practice and finally put it together.
Starting in the first position for the pre-final, how do you plan on keeping the pace for the next 3 races today?
I mean, I'm just going to try to do my best, stay consistent, keep the tires under me. You know, this Maranello machine is one fast thing, and it's so fun to drive around this place.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Gage mentioned there, it is a blast to get around Musselman Honda Circuit. It's been a well-received layout by many of the drivers. 11 have now taken and sorted themselves for Heat 1 and Heat number 2. Let's take you through the official kart class track map preview from Tucson, Arizona. A big run down the main straightaway here in the bend down to turn number 1, known as the Spoon here. And Justin, you can take us through the rest of the lap as they head to turn number 2.
Then that sets them up with the chicane up through 2 and 3, where it'll be a lot of opportunities to grip through, especially up to Helen's Corner. There's a lot of rubber that's sticking up there and a little bit of peel back in what is turn 4. Then you have what they call the G-curve carousel up through 5, 6 to lead up to Laurel's S. 7, 8 up to 9 to Robroni Complex. Then the big opportunity will be the run coming out of turn 10 up to 11, Musselman Corner. That will set up a lot of opportunity for draft before you get up to turn 12, known as the Anderson Apex, to set yourself up for the front straightaway, where a lot of teams have been blending up to the outside line to set up for Spoon by the time they get back to 1.
That's right, 2 major straightaways here. That'll keep the fields packed up pretty tight. 2 big break zones at the end of them at turn 1 and turn 11. You'll see a lot of passes in 4 and 5, and you'll see a couple down the inside, aggressive moves into turn number 9, and maybe one into the chicane here at turn number 2. But we'll have to wait until we get racing to really see a lot of that play itself out. For now, though, 3 classes fully signed, sealed, and ready for qualifying, or for their heat race in the case of the FZ divisions, and for the pre-final in the case of Micromax, which puts us up, of course, to the minis here at the halfway mark in the run order. Mini Max on tap, followed up by Junior Max, Masters Max, and then Senior Max. And it's a healthy grid of the Mini Max drivers here in Tucson, Arizona. A number of names you may recognize, a few more that are new to us that we'll get to introduce you to throughout the duration of the session. But in total, Minimax at 23 drivers, and then followed up again by the biggest division on the weekend, 32 line the grid in Junior Max. And there you go, you can see they've been released here from the desert with the mountains of Mexico just off to the side here. We're not far from the border down at the most southern, one of the most southern parts of Arizona. The heat has been with us most of this week. It will greet us as we get to the afternoon. For now, it is still relatively cool temperatures here at Musselman Honda Circuit, and it's just beginning to heat up when it comes to the surface itself here with 20 plus, the biggest group so far to run. Minimax now on the racetrack for qualifying. Take us through a little bit of what we know from yesterday's and this morning's practice sessions, Justin.
Well, we know Hudson Howard's one of the top drivers in particular. In fact, the J. Howard driver development machines were won to Yusuf Ali, one of the drivers who did really good over the course of the Winter Trophy Series. Was just 58 1/1000ths off that tempo. You have Aiden Go, who's been really good in terms of his tempo at the national level with the Paralympic machines. Then you throw others like Mason Brody and Dutch Westbrook that are also expected to stay pretty competitive. So it's very tight up at the top of the field in particular for those at the national level. Then you'll see some of those that we've seen in some of the road tax events over the years. Lucas Tarango, for example, was one of the first major names that popped up from racing from my first times actually with Kart Chaser when it was in Grand Junction. Had some great speed as a youngster a couple years ago, has won an RMC competition already from the regional side. Keep an eye on Tarango. He is in a nitro kart for Ruthless Karting in the top 10 in final warm-ups earlier this morning.
And Ruthless Karting, one of the Arizona-based operations here out at this event. I'm sure happy to have a home state race weekend. You're seeing a big kind of gaggle of them right now that we're following. Hudson Howard, the Pied Piper at the moment, but that again plays to what we mentioned on the track preview. 2 major straightaways means the draft is going to be the deciding factor more than likely of who ends up getting to start on the front row. At the moment, Howard quickest, leading the way. Tarango, he was 3rd in line, and that lap it put him 2nd. And we see some moves further back. One of the PSL machines, that's the 106 of Samuel Chavery. He's down in the 10th spot. And a new driver to the top of the board, not even in the main group of karts at all. Aiden Go with Paralympic USA resetting fast time. Let's see if the 110 machine of Forrest Blair on that Ruthless Karting GFC can give a little help to Hudson. No, Hudson's going to bail out, and he's going to reset himself. Let's see where he tries to blend. He's looking back for maybe a teammate as Tarango is catching up. And we check in with the other half of the circuit to find Aiden Go. Mason Brody looks to be in the middle of that gaggle of them as well. So Forrest Blair getting the toe off of Howard, resets fast time with a minute to go. They'll get one more lap, maybe two for the first group. This group will only get one more. Let's see what this lap is. I believe that might be Go down at the bottom of the screen on the Paralyn in the 190 or 198. He'll come to the line this time. He had to make a pass there. Obviously, if not him, it's going to be him further in the back of the pack. And indeed, he's all the way at the back of the train. He'll once again reset quick time. So there he is. Perfect position when it comes to trying to end up on the pole. And oh my goodness, we've got a big dust cloud. Someone went off over at turn 5 there at Helen's Corner.
Yeah, that's
turn 4.
Yeah, that's going to be an area where we might see a lot of drivers drop tires. Notice over the course of practice, a few competitors went a little wide. Also expecting that out of Anderson Apex potentially, where you'll see karts really clip that edge. Mind you, there's already a thin line in terms of keeping the racing group in the first place. You miss that line, it's going to hurt you. I was talking with Ryan Perry in particular for RPM, and Ryan Perry Motorsport mentioned it was more so they felt not about the setup. They went with a standard approach on the setup. It was about the tuning and more so about the driver input, because of how sensitive is. You miss the line by even a little bit here, you lose 3/10 immediately.
Well, you can see, again, all the marbles that have already built up over just 2 days of on-track activity. The track was closed to competition on Wednesday. They only had yesterday and Friday for practice sessions. They got more than their fill. By the end of the day, the grid started to look pretty empty, both, I'm sure, from a bit of heat exhaustion as well as just overall lap exhaustion. You're getting a lot of track time here at the RMC America's Trophies events with 7 divisions in total. And as they go to the line for Minimax, let's see how much the board shuffles. Big toe lap there for Samuel Chavarri. It'll put him up to second. And like I said, I don't think that further back group got another lap, so Aiden Go is going to have to pucker. No, they did. Here they go down the backstretch. Let's see. Are they coming to the pits this time? Are they going to the end? No, they're headed in. They're done. And that's it. Aiden Go. He is confirmed now your pole award winner in Minimax, group number 4 of 7 on the day. A 10th up. Chavarri able to pip his way to P2 with a nice run to the line there over Yusuf Adi. Forrest Blair ends up 4th. Hudson Howard, he took a moment to reset himself and try to get a toe lap. Ultimately, it wasn't enough. He'll start 5th alongside Mason Brody, 2 drivers that have already had plenty of battles in 2026. And we're just at the first weekend of the true regular season here, beginning the end of the winter and the beginning of the spring stretch. Lucas Durango, Max Santana, Dutch Westbrook, Connor Lipka, your top 10. And here's how the rest of the middle stacked up in the 23 driver Minimax class. Theo Jackson, Mateo Pai on the outside looking in. Look how close it is to Justin, just 3/10 from 11th down to 20th, and even another 10th only back to Chase Rittering, and then Samia Altar-Chide Sanchez.
Yeah, very tightly packed, and yet again, it's going to potentially set things up for some close racing amongst the pack. It's going to be fun to see the battling go on over the course of this one.
So Minimax is all wrapped up. Group number 4 in the books. On the way, though, as we get set, it's the biggest division here for the RMC America's Trophy. Junior Max drivers ready to roll. And again, hopefully some good moments for them and no dust kicked up like that as they're ripping on the limit here in Tucson.
Macron Motorsports builds champions every day, drivers who won on the world stage. The Tillotson T4 Series is pure spec racing. Same engine, same chassis. When you win, it's because you were the best that day. Your edge is not the kart. It's the setup, the strategy, and the race team. With our Arrive and Drive program, you simply bring your gear, we provide the equipment and the championship-winning support to every event. Stop wrenching, start racing. Your path to the T4 Nations Cup in Spain starts with us. For more information, contact us at macronmotorsports.net.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Gee, looks like we're missing an engine. What the hell am I supposed to tag?
What do you mean? It's my Greyhound. It's all I need.
Where's the rest of it?
It doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
You're gonna make weight. Okay, you're good.
I'm sitting by here with Kyle, our race winner. Tell me how you did it. You were blazing fast out there, and I mean, you don't even have a go-kart, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, Norberg, Schmorberg, the Greyhound-powered Greyhound was great today. You know, it makes the difference. And the team's been working really hard back at the shop, and, you know, just shout out Greyhound.
Thank you, Kyle.
How the f did you just win?
Doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
Welcome back as we continue on with qualifying coverage here this morning. It's time to move on with one of our biggest classes on property. These are going to be your Junior Maxes. And the Junior Max is expecting a competitive one, to say the very least. 3 drivers who were in a 10th of a second in final warm-ups today, with Tristan Murphy who led the way in that session. But for all these drivers, it's going to be simple. Get track position. There's a lot of traffic here today, Xander. You do not want to be in the midst of the hornet's nest with how far back you might get.
No, you do not. You only get one shot at it, right? It's a doubleheader format, so qualifying good because you only have just the pre-final, and then, of course, you need to survive that. Talking on the drive-in and setting up this weekend, this is probably one of the toughest venues to have an off-track moment or to have a kind of crash. I would hate to end up out in the weeds here in the dust and sand and hard off-track, well, some parts grass, but certainly it is not soft by any means. It's going to be brutal for anyone who ends up way out and potentially damage, of course, to the actual racing machine. But with the first lap kind of coming in here as they get going in Junior Max, we start to get a bit of a read of where the field currently sits. Right now, Travis Pettit, fastest on that first time by, a 51.194. Darren Kidd up there, who had a fantastic performance at the Rotax Max Challenge Winter Trophy in Texas. First career podium for him, nearly got his first career win as well. He was one of 2 who really were on a banner weekend for Mike Doty Racing. Along with him was Ben Abernathy, the eventual Junior Max champion. John McClellan, the West Coast kid, 3rd on the opening lap. Antoine Bazinet from Canada, 4th. Marco Samet with BJR, 5th. Let's see what they do this time as the pack has started to settle out a little bit. And we get Ashton Woon and Colton Schneegenberg. Schneegenberg here on screen in the RPM Tony Kart, leading the pack around at the moment. Enzo Di Gennaro's right there behind him, and then Woon. So you got a couple of your fast cars right at the front half of this main group, and then the second group a little further back is McClellan, as we see Woon with the first pass down into turn number 4. Like I said, that's going to be a really critical part of the lap here for a lot of drivers to make some moves.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities I think we'll see pop up with those runs we'll see at that part of the racetrack. In particular, I'm very curious with some of the others that did well over the course of the Winter Series, like Kidd, who was a top 5 driver in the point standings. Anderson, we see pop up in particular in terms of some of the races. We've seen a lot of these competitors, Chandler Rush, I should say, having a lot of good speed we've seen over the course of the winter season. But I know for a fact some of the drivers like Schneegenberg, who leads this pack, already made it clear he wants to dominate the weekend, he said, when asked about expectations. Right now, top 5 of the session. Murphy backing up the warm-up speed, though, once again at the RPM camp.
Ryan Perry Motorsport, 3 of the top 5 at the moment. Great start for all of them. There's Murphy lined up behind Enzo Di Gennaro. Both of them have a little ways to go to the next 2 who have been equally tracking some good laps, like Woon and Colton Schneegenberg. But I think Ashton Woon might be on a heater more than anyone else, judging on the gaps here. Nathan Golseth might be on track for a good one as well in that Speed Concepts Racing Carlos Sainz entry. So let's see if the black and white crew can go. You see Schneegenberg dropping back. I don't know if he meant to do that because, again, this is going to be the checkers. He won't get a lap to make up for it. To the line. Woon, did he get enough of a toe off the back of him to improve? He does not. In fact, nobody in that main pack goes any faster. And let's wait for the last group of them to hit the timing line. Any changes here as they go to the line? Travis Pettit, can he leapfrog his way in the top 10? He does. He'll get above Golseth to the inside of row 5. But that'll do. Tristan Murphy over a 10th up on Yutaka Sonoda and Ryan Perry Motorsport. 1, 2, 5 over McClellan, and Sanguinetti on the premier karting entry out of the Pacific Northwest, and the team from Canada, Ashton Woon, Kidd, William Vitor for JHD and MPG Motorsports, Pettit, and then Golseth. A 3/10 spread, truthfully only a 2/10 spread from 2nd to 10th. A great lap there from Tristan Murphy, and didn't even need the final lap to go any better. In fact, he went a little slower on it as they all started to fade, and that'll be something, again, to keep our eyes on. We talk about the heat. How quickly will these tires get more temp and more air pressure than what is peak performance? And it looks like it might be early in these sessions.
And in particular, teams did mention, in particular, Ryan Perry himself said, doesn't expect anyone to run fully 100% over the course of the weekend, and that if you run 100%, you're going to cook your tires. You're going to fall off by the end of the day in particular. So a lot of these drivers have to think of not just about trying to make moves to keep a track position, but also maintaining the grip in their temperatures of the tires so they don't cook.
Let's go down and hear from Grace. Tristan Murphy getting his helmet off, top of the board in qualifying by over a 1/10 of a second. On to you.
Tristan, you heard Xander, over a 1/10 of a second. How does it make you feel?
Makes me feel great.
And how do you plan on keeping the pace for the next final?
Just try to stay in front, keep the cart on the line, keep the tires alive.
And what do you think it is about this track that really just clicks for you?
Just staying on the line and keeping the tires just clean.
Awesome, congratulations.
Thank you.
So just like that, 4 classes completed, 3 remain. Junior Max all signed and ready now for their pre-final. 32 of them will be taken to the green again. That's going to be in total 16 rows headed down the front straightaway with a look like that down towards the mountains. The track actually has a fair bit of elevation change. You can kind of even see it here from this ground shot. Phenomenal angle we've got down here at our second camera spot right at the chicane turns 2 and 3. But it's the run here down to turn number 1. You can see it as they kind of climb going around Anderson Apex. In fact, that's actually a little bit off camber even, just a touch at the apex. So the track falls off, and then really you head downhill in the run on this main straightaway. It already spits you out to the driver's left side along those white lines, and then that kink heading into turn number 1, that's where you really see them begin to open up for the corner, or again try to stay on the inside to defend position if they feel like they're a little bit close. But quite a few Junior Max drivers all debriefing, and a lot of them backed up as they begin to work their way towards the scale line. You can see right now with the sunshine and everyone's still in good spirits because the heat really hasn't kicked up just yet here in Tucson, but boy will it. Throughout the day, we're expecting the temps to skyrocket and the surface temps as well. Again, you can see how dark the surface is with the sun baking it here out in the desert. It could be as high as 15 to 20 degrees more than the air temperature that is already, again, as mentioned by the local news, it feels like every single morning we're down at the hotel having breakfast. Record highs for the entire month of March. In fact, one note I saw, it didn't even get below freezing at all during this month. So, yeah, a lot of heat. A lot of heat here in Tucson, Arizona. The racing hopefully will be right there, hot and ready for you all as the day continues. For now, though, Masters Max onto the racetrack. Time has begun for them. A little bit of a lighter turnout for these drivers in total. Senior Max currently down on the grid. They'll be the final 2 divisions to roll through and take us to the end of the day in the roster run. So Junior Max, again, finding itself just in the middle of it all. Masters Max, I believe 4 in total, and then Senior Max will qualify after them. That'll be our final session of the qualifying coverage, and again, our last bit of the free coverage for those of you joining us right now. Hopefully all of you are enjoying the triple threat we've got on Kart Chaser at the moment. The Apex South Division Round 3 over at Atlanta Motorsports Park is live. They're already into their afternoon heat races. Of course, our friends a couple hours away over at the Champions of the Future America Series at K1 Circuit are live. They've got qualifying heats on tap today. And, of course, here we are at Musselman Honda Circuit. So 3 different venues on complete opposite ends of the country, live broadcasting the most action-packed form of motorsport there truly is here, the top-level American karting.
And it really showcases, of course, the talent we have on staff to be able to give you all that coverage today. But we have a lot of talent when it comes to the Masters side. In particular, Billy Cleveland has been the top driver when it comes to a majority of the practice sessions and as well this morning's warm-up. lots of experience with some SCUSA Supernats wins. He's gotten some experience, of course, in recent years. In this series in Rotax competition, his Racing Edge Motorsports machine has been flying over the course of the weekend here in the 658 machine. That's why he's at the top of the board right now. Still far along with the 657 of Jose de la Garza, who tries to find a way to close on up to one of the drivers who was a top 5 contender over at Speed Sports just a couple weeks ago and a couple months ago.
Yeah, how about it for Jose de la Garza on the on the 657 Rawlson Performance Group entry. He, of course, like you mentioned, along with Billy Cleveland, were with us in Texas in the complete opposite end of the extremities temperature-wise with the snowstorm that postponed round 2 of the opening weekend of the Winter Trophy, put it in to rounds 3 and 4, and made it a triple threat weekend, racing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Billy Cleveland there as well. He was a part of, honestly, a lot of really good races in Masters Max. The turnout there a little bit bigger than what we have here to start the America's Trophy. I think by the time we get to Cincinnati, Ohio, will be a little bit bigger, and then the U.S. Trophy Final surely will bring quite a few out. Here's a look as well at the current conditions. 82 degrees Fahrenheit, 27 degrees Celsius, already climbing up there. But again, the track temp, 110 degrees and skyrocketing from there. Sunny conditions, only 8% humidity. That helps a little bit. Unfortunately, only 2 miles an hour of wind, so that doesn't help us all too much. Doesn't change much for the straightaways, though. These are so lengthy that it doesn't matter. You're still going to have a huge slipstream effect. But Billy Cleveland specifically, Justin, he's more than double the minimum age requirement for the Masters Max class. 68 years young. He's as old as the dirt out here. No, I'm kidding. Billy Cleveland, though, he has won about everything there is to win. He has been a lifer in the sport. Countless times he has represented the Stars and Stripes at the Rotax Grand Finals as a part of Team USA. This, of course, is the beginning of the journey for many to try and punch a ticket to represent their country at what is truly an event that has been rightfully coined the Olympics of karting, with country-based suits, a spec chassis, spec motor, lottery system, and the road to Portugal and Portimao. We've already handed out a handful of tickets to the Winter Trophy, and oh no, that is not the way you want to start your trip across the pond or journey to hopefully get to Europe. That is the Ruthless Karting entry of Ducat. That is a right front tire that has come off the wheel hub and sent him into the outside retaining wall over at the Viborni Complex. Or Viborni Complex there, that's turn number 9 and 10. And surprising that it went off here on the final lap, that it hung on for the entirety of the session, Justin.
Yeah, I'm surprised there, because you would think if it was loose, it might have gone off much earlier in terms of that bolt. But you can see a bit of the frustration. They're obviously going to have to work to get that kart rolling, get off the racetrack before we get to the seniors.
Well, it gives us plenty of time to preview Senior Max on deck. Another hefty grid of them. Oliver Hodgson hot off that SCUSA Winter Series title with factory karts and the vice champion honor at the Rotax Max Challenge Winter Trophy. Just came up a couple points shy of being able to take the win there. His longtime understudy over the last few years, Cooper O'Clair, has joined him on the red and black brand, and the two of them have spent many, many days and weekends here at the two major venues in Arizona, this one in particular as well at Musselman Honda Circuit training. And now they've got a home major, back-to-back weekends of major events here at Musselman Honda Circuit, inviting some of the best from all over, like the Midwest, Isaac Melcutt, Little Sizzle, beginning his first true full campaign in senior divisions, the 370 for Mike Doty Racing, and many more like Griffin Dowler, who has made the trip down with his usual OTK Xpri machine, the Ironman livery helmet. And Griffin has been fast here. He was fast at the Rotax Max Challenge Trophy West events as well when we were last here with our live coverage. Brandon Jarskak Racing from North Carolina making the long trek out here. That's Chris Harrower in the 362. They've got a healthy contingent this weekend, including their two main gunners, Paulie Massimino and James Overbeck in Senior Max. Massimino, a ticket recipient last year, represented well at the Rotax Grand Finals. Top 10 performance in his first ever time in the DD2 package that normally is the one we see John Lucas Savalio in. The Canadian for Racing Edge Motorsports is on grid here in Senior Max. There's no DD2 action during the America's Trophy. Joshua Sumvalis, one of the FAF Kart Sport entries, who was with us in Texas as well. The FAF family of motorsport, double-duty weekend for them. The Sebring 12 Hours in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship in here at Musselman Honda Circuit for the RMC America's Trophy. Ready for action with James Overbeck's Senior Max debut, at least especially at this racetrack and potentially for the full championship run when it heads to his home venue in Cincinnati.
Yeah, first time in Rotax action. Was talking with Grace initially. She gave me the heads up. I spoke with James about that debut here over the course of this weekend. He felt it was a bit of a learning curve still to get used to this engine package, get used to the Rotax, because it drives a little bit differently for him compared to what he's used to. Expectations, though, for the team, as you would expect for Paulie Massimino, he said he wants the full sweep of the whole podium. He wants to celebrate.
Yeah, they're ready to go. All the way to the top. They've got 2 chances to do it here in Senior Max. How about this young man, Alexis Baerjan, double duty at the Rotax Max Challenge Winter Trophy. Talk about jumping in the deep end ×2 for his first ever racing events in Senior Max and DD2 Max, and he had some speed in both, and he was knocking on the door of a top 10 in Senior Max on all 4 rounds of that championship. He's ready to go and contest for a ticket to represent the red and white at Portimao for the Rotax Grand Finals at the end of this year. That's Liam Constantine as well, lined up at the back of the grid. You can go out wherever you want to. I'm curious here in the Senior Max division. It's kind of on the border of how fast they are on their own, and so many tight and twisting sections that might mitigate or put a lot of risk on attempting a toe lap in qualifying. At the same point, you can obviously see the front of the grid pretty crowded. So we may see many drivers trying to line up in a pack, in a line, and get a bit of help. And welcome back to the state, Sean Butcher with Ralston Performance Group. We got to see his debut at the SCUSA Winter Series. Man, was he robbed. A podium result, even with the hose clamp failing on him late in the final main event of the weekend, and on the first of his 2 tries at the Winter Series, an issue with, I believe, a flat tire when he was running into top 5 as well. He is one of the most decorated drivers out of the United Kingdom over the last decade. He has been a huge, huge impact here with the RPG camp, only 1 weekend in. And we're excited to have him over here stateside for back-to-back weekends. He'll be with us at the SCUSA Pro Tour. He's with us here at the RMC America's Trophy. Love to take a ticket with him back home at the end of the 2-week stint here in Tucson. He will certainly be a threat to a fellow countryman of his own who truly now considers himself an American, Oliver Hodgson, multi-time Kart Masters winner, Rotax Grand Finals champion. He's yet to win the Rotax Grand Finals sporting the Team USA suit. He has had 2 tries at it. He's made the roster back-to-back years. He's the 4-time consecutive Rotax Max Challenge US Trophy Final winner, Justin. That is unheard of to win the same event 4 years ongoing. Last year, threw everything at him. Rain and dry back and forth about 4 times in that main event at Newcastle in October. But the 32-year-old is ever spry and ever fast and ever able to really adapt to the conditions at hand. And these conditions this weekend certainly will be a test.
There's a reason we've seen him in particular in multiple different series to be a top 5, if not top 10 contender just about week in, week out. You expect Hodgson in particular to be one of your contenders on the racetrack every time he's out, because he's just got the ability to make passes the right spots and also has the right mindset to save the tires to make charges in the finals. So far, has the clean air to work with. Some of these are little tandems, though. But to see if that has a little bit of an advantage. Cooper Auclair right in the middle of it, trying to give some pushes here to 370.
Yeah, so Cooper Auclair there in the red and black factory cart. He's got Isaac Malquit right behind him, following him along. As well there, the 342 machine closely following that. Xander Malatesta on the Ruthless Karting X-Spree. Xander's first full senior campaign underway here in 2026. And then on the other half of the track here, you see a number of the REM machines. That's John Lucas Savalio with a big contingent. And back here, Paulie Massimino and Sean Butcher. So keep an eye on those two at the end of the pylon with the first laps coming in. Ingrata fastest. Aiden Ingrata fastest yesterday to close out the afternoon. Fast again this morning. The Canadian was wicked quick in Texas at Speed Sports. He's at a 50.543 over fellow Canadian Alexis Baerjan.
Yeah, I spoke with Ingrata for a couple quick moments to ask, how was the kart feeling? Fast. How was the track feeling? Good. Kept very close to the chest, to say the very least. Ingrata feels very confident is what I'm saying here, but Butcher in particular has also been one of the fastest drivers on property with those European Championships. Right now, though, shuffling down the order more so, as the back half continues to log in laps. Overbeck also, we mentioned with the Road Tax debut, up in the top 3 so far, just about 3/10 off the top of the board as that changes to Ingrata going even faster.
There you see Sean Butcher trailing off Massimino. Both of them right now 6th and 7th, 3/10 off the pace of Ingrata. So more speed to find for them. In fact, how about Macy Williams, the young lady driving up for CB Motorsports, the Colorado-based operation. This is her first event on our cameras in 2026, to my knowledge. The last time we saw her, unfortunately, she had a very scary moment at the SCUSA Super Nationals, competing inside the top 15 on a heat race in Pro Shifter under the lights. She has already a number of trophies in Rotax Max Challenge competition, both here and above the border in Canada over the last couple of years. Would love to see her represent Team USA once again in the 3-1-4, and we'll see if she can't get it done as they roll across the line. Ingrata 2/10 up now. Big improvement. Goodness gracious, the REM crew got to be stoked with the performance outright so far, because if it's anything like Junior Max, that may be the time that sticks all the way to the end. 3 laps in, Ingrata is nearly 2/10 clear on your field. Macy Williams second, Alexis Bayarjan third, Botillier fourth, Massimino fifth, and the checkers will fly this time by the stripe. Let's see as that first group heads down the backstretch for the final time. Is there going to be any more improvements or changes in our top 10, or will it be like Junior? Here across the line for Hodgson, nothing better for him. Most of that pack staying around the same. Problems further back, the 368, that's Constantine.
One of the drivers that actually had a camera issue in the previous session in warm-ups. Looks like able to get it fired up, but everybody else staying relatively stable. Jumping up inside the top 10 at the very least in the order. But right now, Ingrata at the very least showing in the cooler temperatures, it's really good. We'll see how things go as it gets hotter and hotter, though.
Well, he was good at the end of Friday. He's good here in the morning on Saturday. Aiden Ingrata, almost 2/10 up on everyone, and by himself at that as well. Macy Williams will join him on the front row, the young lady with a lot of speed on the CB Motorsports entry. Bayarjan, Botillier, Massimino, your top 5. And just like that, qualifying all wrapped up here for round 1 of the America's Trophy from Tucson. On down to you in the scale lines, Grace.
Yeah, I'm here with Aiden Ingrata. Tell me about your weekend so far.
Yeah, I mean, the weekend's been good. We tried a bunch of stuff in the practices. Finally figured it out from our side and my side. And yeah, in quality, the car felt good, engine felt good. Lap was very good, and chassis felt very good, engine felt very good, and we went pole. So.
Yeah, talk to me about that lap where you were able to get pole.
Yeah, it was a good lap. I mean, I did a 0.1 the lap before, and I thought it was pretty good. And then I felt the car felt alive, so I pushed a bit more everywhere and got down to a 0.9 last lap. So I want to thank the team for a top job, and we have a lot of work to do still.
Awesome, congratulations.
Thank you.
Every time I sit down, it's fine. But then when I
Aiden Ingrata, phenomenal speed here in Senior Max qualifying. And with that, folks, we'll be having another short break on the way as they continue to get the grids fully set up for racing action. What a day we have in store. 100+ entries, 23 alone in Senior Max now wrapped up from Tucson, Arizona at the Musselman Honda Circuit. Opening weekend for the RMC America's Trophy. FZ85 Juniors ready for pre-final or heat race action, I should say, when we return here from Tucson.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspects with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR. with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and zero sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Paulie Massimino wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix. James Overback on start number 2 gets win number 1 in OKN Stars.
On track or off, Brandon Jarsekrak Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarsekrak, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarsekrakRacing.com.
Champions